Hi everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to our podcast. This is Group 8. Today we have with us Mr. Baskar Rengaiyan. He has a professional experience of 20 years and we would love to know more about his professional work life. Hello sir, hope you're doing well.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting us.
So we will jump right ahead to the question. So
Okay,
our first question we'd like to ask you is basic question. Please go ahead and give a brief introduction about yourself, sir.
okay, thank you. Uh, I'm based out of India running a startup, 5-year-old startup focused on travel and transportation, especially for airlines and airports. Our intention is to increase on-time performance of the every aircraft is taking off on time at the best possible way. You can increase the operational efficiency as well as employee efficiency. Before starting this company, I was global head for a travel and transportation company, delivered close to 450 plus products for companies like American Airlines, United Airlines, Southeast Airlines, product companies like Sabre and Amadeus. I worked for Swiss Air, Jetstar Australia, Jet Airways India, all top 30 airlines and airports I worked and delivered product and solutions.
Thank you so much, sir. We 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 have chosen the right person for this podcast. With the amount of years you have experience, we'd love to pick a leaf out of your book. So the first question I would like to ask you is, you've led teams with people from different cultures. How did your leadership skills vary according to their style of working?
Yeah, it's a very tricky but very intelligent question. As a leader, we need to learn on how the diversified culture works. When we have our offices at the US, Europe, East Asia, and the Indian continent, it is always best the leader understand the culture of geography, the aspirations in general, and the expectation of the employees at large. That's very important. Sometimes when you hire later employees from different or culture or organization, we must also understand those organization culture as well so that the fitment can be easy and you can understand the team better and you can manage your team very well. Even as a leader, you should pay attention when you hire a student. You need to understand the business school and its culture so that you can manage them well and you can untap the potential to the best way possible. Please remember, if you don't handle this, if we don't manage well as a leader, we cannot manage our own brand. As a leader, my simple take is to handle the situation on managing the varied culture is you need to empathize with your team. You need to try to understand and speak on the language with a complete compassion. And please pay complete attention when they speak or express. That's very important so that you can respond diplomatically. If you don't have an answer immediately, don't worry. But but ensure we go back and respond to them, which creates a win-win situation.
So catering to every employee's needs is one of the key points to have a healthy work environment.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So going on to the next question, what do you, what is your take on informal leadership, and have you used it in your organization, or how do you use it in your organization?
Another brilliant question. In fact, in a startup world, informal leadership works and makes a lot of magic. You cannot be a formal leader at times, or most of the time, in a startup environment where the outcome alone matters. As a leader, I always go to the delivery floor. I'll speak randomly, pick a couple of employees, colleagues to understand the support system, what they are experiencing from the management side or from the middle management, and try to understand what they are working on, how they are working on. Is there any impediments? As a leader, I try to help them with my views without deviating much of their agreed deliverables with their managers and the system. We should assist them by explaining how on a real time I solved such problems, similar problems in the past, so that they can get on and start solving the problem. We need to be very authentic, resourceful, so that it is very easy for a leader to deliver as an organization along with your own colleagues. If you don't have an answer, no problem. Go back, spend some time, consult either an external consultant or speak with your own colleagues and get a kind of solution. Go back to the same employee or colleague, assist them, explain them so that they take it very seriously, you and the system and what they are developing and delivering. That is how the informal leadership is supposed to work.
From what you mentioned, being a friend to an employee or your colleague is one of the key factor that we can establish a healthy work environment.
Correct. Correct.
Now, my friend, my team member would like to go ahead and ask a set of 4 questions for you as
Yeah, so my question to you will be regarding what is your take on leaders and managers? Are they same or different?
Leaders and managers are different, though they work for common objective. A manager manages, the leader manages the whole system. The manager scope is bit limited by default due to the responsibility. But please remember where the variation starts is how the manager manages the exceptions, exceptional situations. If he is able to manage with the right solution, giving right support to the team, that's where he will be start grooming himself as a leader. Please remember, if the leader doesn't take decisions as for the exceptional conditions for during the crisis, he cannot be called a leader. A manager is more than sufficient. That is how a manager and the leader varies.
So, from your thoughts, I feel like your difference between leaders and managers is pretty clear from your thinking. It's a good thing. The other question I'll be asking you is you yourself have been a manager for so many years, managing so many teams. How do you evaluate your team members? And do you feel that some kind of feedback is important in this?
Feedback always matters. It's very important you give feedback to the team. But please remember, give constructive feedback. Don't criticize. Okay? It hurts anyone at every level. Constructive feedback with respect to how better that we can do, that makes a difference. But please remember today, the feedback is something to do not with an individual, but either with your team or your culture. In the past, we go for individual performance assessments. Today, the team performance is what is counted, whether as a team I delivered or not. That's very important. If the team is not delivered, forget, nothing is no conversation at all. We have to move on and find an alternate way of working. But please remember, feedback very important, particularly in the agile world. That's the biggest advantage we see is daily stand-ups. When you conduct, you get to know what exactly is working, what are all the impediments, what is that the team has to basically take a right action then and there. Otherwise, in the past, we used to start a project, deliver after 6 months. You will come to know the project by the time become irrelevant due to business scenarios are changed. But today in agile world, you are working very closely with the customer. So customer has to give the feedback on what you are doing, and you have to give the feedback to the customer. That is how things are changed. So feedback matters.
Okay, so feedback is important, but it's very
Yes,
important that it should be constructive feedback.
correct.
and
Yeah,
like you mentioned, we need to give continuous feedback day to day,
yeah,
Continuous. Yes.
rather than just
because
giving it after a couple of months or weeks. Continuous everyday evaluation is better, is what you mentioned.
Yes, others. Otherwise, the leader. himself will be understood very wrongly by the team. Hey, why did you wait for 3 months or 4 months to give your feedback? You should have told me that. In a
Yeah,
faster world, you can't wait. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, others.
exactly.
Thanks.
Uh, so, uh, just one more question for you, sir. So, what is your take on emotional intelligence as well? Like, how can we integrate it into a leadership practice within an organization? And are there any specific, techniques or strategies which we can use in this?
Uh, as a leader, you should have emotional intelligence. If the person doesn't have the emotional intelligence, not learnt or understood or applied, then he cannot survive as a leader. Number one. Number two, please remember when you handle various cultural team, this is very important. The best way to handle is a simple technique, according to me, is you need to empathize. Empathy is very important on such scenarios. You need to listen. You need to listen. Don't get into so emotional also, but you listen. Collect the data points. Understand. Give a scientific solution, even for emotional thing. If you can't support, no problem. But try to explain. Bring him on board so that it is easy for the employee to accept the reality or colleague to accept the reality so that they will be with you. The one major point what I see is you have to empathize. You should have the real compassion with your colleagues. Forget about your employees. If you don't have such compassion, you can't deal your own kids also. Simple.
Yeah,
You like from what you mentioned, empathy and active listening are two
Correct.
of the key factors.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure to have you. And
I just wish we had more time with you, speaking about more topics to explore more things.
Thank you so much, Adarsh and gentlemen. In fact, call me in case of any assistance. I'm there to help you. Take
thank you
care.
so much, sir. It's
Thank you,
been a
sir.
pleasure to
Thank
have
you.
you today. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.